Welcome back to another episode in the Green Bay Packers franchise. It's the first off-season episode and we're kicking this off with a press conference. Hey everybody, says Matt LaFleur. Coach, let's talk about the next few months, says the reporter. What is your plan for the upcoming off-season? Well, exciting to see. Make a splash, upgrade the roster, make sure we win the draft. I think make sure we win the draft is something. I need to win the draft this year. What does that mean? Yeah, good question. I don't know. I didn't have time to think about it. Don't pressure me, guys. Draft a sleeper in the 5th to 7th rounds. Draft a difference maker in the first 3. Oof. Good question. I'm gonna go with this. Probably easier to accomplish, but I don't know. So, yeah. We'll check back in training camp, see how it did. Well, thanks for that, reporter, putting me on the line there. I love these questions. Some of those are really crazy, but whatever. The progress in the off-season that I usually cover is I take a look back at the past season, take a look at some stats, then we move through the weeks, re-signing players, covering free agency, then moving into draft. I want to take the time to really cover that as well as I can. We do have a few needs, so if you look at this, you immediately see that the outside linebacker, center, tight end, I think we can upgrade some positions. I'm not really sure if this is what I want to do, and this is why I will be showing you my thought process on the way there, because I do have a plan on what I want to achieve with this team, especially now since we won the Super Bowl in the first season, you know, so what's the target here, right? The season recap, we already covered that, basically. Gonna show it to you nonetheless. There's not much to see in here, to be fair. We won it 6 times NFC champion, 5 times Super Bowl champion, and Super Bowl MVP Jordan Love. Everything else we already know from looking back at the yearly awards. I will be doing the player upgrades off camera because there's a lot going on anyways. There's weekly awards happening, and it's Jordan Love with 18 for 192 pass yards, 1 passing touchdown. And Edgerrin Cooper, middle linebacker, 5 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, which is awesome. Nick Bolton was a beast, 12 tackles, and Pat Mahomes just doing Pat Mahomes things. But yeah, we came out on top, and I'm incredibly happy about that. Let's take a look at the mock draft first. Maybe let's see where they're putting us and who they're putting in our hands, or who they're mocking to go to us. We're going to be picking extremely late, no surprise right there, right? So, cornerback Paul Simon, not a position that we need in my opinion. I think we're incredibly well set at every position, and I will be, again, going through my thought process, why I will be going for certain positions and what the plan is for the next few months here for this franchise. Let's take a look next at the retirements. That's always important to see. Saying goodbye to big names. And I'm just going to be moving through this real quick. You can pause. You can look at the players retiring. There's a few players that I would really like to see maybe as a mentor on the team. To be fair, there's not too many impact players that I would be missing. But of course, the mentors that we did sign, especially to help us out in the tough off-season, to get through the injuries, to help the younger players, fully paid off. And it's Jason Verrett retiring, John Jenkins, Jason Peters, Melvin Ingram, Dwayne Brown, Brian Hoyer, and Pat Peterson. Thank you guys for helping us reach the Super Bowl, win the title. That was just incredibly important and exciting. Aaron Rodgers retires, Tyrod Taylor, Greg Van Roten, Brandon Graham, Ryan Tannehill. So yeah, again, I'm just going to be moving through this, and then we will be moving onwards. There's always, this is always a time in the Rejects Rise franchise where I'm kind of, these are players that I need to build a strong team, and if they retire, they're gone forever, and I have to wait for the next players to turn 30. But yeah, there's that. All right, so we covered it. Those were the players that did retire, and I think time for player negotiations. We are going to be looking at these, deciding who we want to re-sign, who we can re-sign, because of course some of these are not willing to re-sign, and some of these I don't want to re-sign. So the plan is to just get that out of the way and then take stock of the team and where we stand. I want to keep Quay Walker, right? Because I'm super happy with him, but I will not be giving him the 5th-year option. I just think it's always a little bit more expensive, to be fair, and I think I can give him a long-term deal. I want him on the team long-term. His re-sign interest is there anyways, but I want to give him a long-term deal, not just 1 year. Bo Melton, I'm going to think about this. Maybe I'm going to pick him up again. Right now, I don't really see the benefit of keeping him, giving him a big deal. He is 75 rated, 26. Devontae Wyatt, it's maybe more or less the same thing. I think he's a good option to have. I don't want to give him the 5th-year option. So if players are on the roster still, and I don't give them the 5th-year option, which means just an additional contract year of their rookie contract, then I can just give him a long-term deal just like that. Other players, I have to make a decision now. And for instance, Louis Cine is a perfect squad piece, right? He's a great backup player. Currently, he's 70 rated. He's 25 years old. I can give this dude a 5-year deal, and it's not really gonna hurt me that much. If he will resign, then so be it. That's perfect. If he doesn't want to resign, it's no problem either. I don't think we really need him, which is why I'm bumping down the offer quite a bit, and I will just see if he accepts or not. Those are players where I don't really care too much about it. Amari Rodgers is a player I want to have. He is a great slot receiver. He's just a really good clutch player, and I just feel like he's a dude that has a lot to offer to the team. I've always had him on my franchises, and yeah, I just think he's awesome, and I just want to have him on the team basically. Let's see what a good offer would be. Let's just see. The player friendly offer is this, the neutral offer is this. I'm gonna bump this a little bit, but not too much. Exactly, there we go. Amari Rodgers, thank you for staying 5 more years. That's awesome. Daquan Hardy, 24 and 68. I'm unsure about him. I'm not really sure what I want to do here. He's a little bit too old for that overall. Tavian Robinson, he did do well, and he was a rookie, but to be fair, maybe as a practice squad player at a free agency, but not in terms of giving him a long deal contract. I have players that are younger, in Tavian Wicks for instance, that are way higher rated already, so it just doesn't really make sense in terms of age and overall. Zach van Valkenburg, same thing, 2762. It's not even like I really want to have him as a backup. I'd rather have a mentor that buffs the development. Anthony Barr, mid linebacker, he was just there as a backup player. Tyler Davis, no way, Jose, that I'm re-signing this dude. Donovan Smith was here as a backup player and a mentor, Lawrence Guy Sr. And Daniel Whelan as a punter, 26 and 70 overall. I might get him back out of free agency, but I think there are better punters going to be available. A new feature, and it's really a strange new feature to be fair, is the new view for prospects. And now they've had the combine added in here as a separate view, basically, where you can see the 40 time, the bench, the vertical, and all that. And I personally love that because it was such a pain to just look through the players, find the ones that you really want to have. Basically, the benches, they're going to be strong dudes, right? The jumping, all that is important in terms of strength. Then the 3-cone, that's the agility, and so on. And of course, the 40 time is going to be the speed. So who's like the fastest dude in here? And can we find like a late rounder that's also looking pretty good in terms of speed? It just makes things way, way easier. Emeka Egbuka, probably not a big surprise. Isaiah Bond, could have really great speed on this one. He looks to be pretty strong as well when you look at the verticals here. And the 3-cone, the bench not so much, but again, if you're looking for a strong player, why not just take a look here, and you can see who's going to be the strongest dude. Of course, in the higher rounds you will see the better players, but you know, you're going to have lower rated players as well if you dive into the positions. And of course, if we dive into our favorites, we can kind of look at which players would be really, really quick in here. Do we have fast players? Anthony Belton has 0, which I think it means that he didn't compete. But yeah, look at this one, potential UDFA player, 436. I actually like that. He's a wide receiver, and when I compare this to the overall, right? I mean, it's around here, right? So a top player in terms of speed. I just really like that. So I'm going to be doing that off screen, just diving into that, taking a look here, and doing that with you together as we approach the draft, of course. But for now, we have to take a look at free agency. Before we even enter free agency, there's a few things we need to look at, and I'm going to show you this in the salary screen. I think this is the best one to do that. We need to identify where we have opportunities and where we should act right now, because we know which players are going to be wanting a new deal next year and which don't want to have a new deal because they have a long-term one and where the costly and so on and so forth. And my plan for this franchise series is to build a dynasty, to have clever succession plans in here. What does that mean? In my opinion, a good succession plan means that having a player up to the age of 25, you can have, you don't really necessarily need a successor in there. You can have a backup, a mentor, or something like that. If you move past that, and you will be getting younger players in there, between the age of 25, 28, you should act. Between 28 and 32, I think you have to act. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem, or you have to trade for a solid player. But if you want to draft, it's not something that you can approach like this. For instance, here, we can see Malik Willis will want a deal next year. Fair enough. I'm going to think about it, but I will be bringing in a quarterback. A young quarterback who can grow behind these two players. And when Jordan Love hits the age of, I don't know, 28 or 29 in 3 years' time, then I would like to have a quarterback in here that is at least able to replace him on a somewhat similar level, all right? Not exactly, but similar, to have the succession plan going on. So at quarterback, I need to get active. I know that. On running back, I don't need to get active because we have a fantastic situation here. I love Josh Jacobs, AJ Dillon, Marshawn Lloyd. That's just fantastic. Emmanuel Wilson is a little bit of a head scratcher for me. I know that he's good in real life, but 63 at age 26, that is just completely unusable for me. So I will be making some package deals for these players later on and just get some space on the team. No fullback, I don't care about that. We're going to backfill here. On the wide receiving core, next year we have 3 players that need new contracts. Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, and Malik Heath. Looking at the players I do have on deals are Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, and Amari Rodgers now, and then Reggie Robertson. The thing is, I don't think that these 2 players are really feasible to keep around in any case. So again, I'm going to package these. I want to bring in like a 20-year-old, 21-year-old to just grow behind the veteran players. And whichever way the contract negotiations go, we're going to see if we can bring these players into the fold quicker. So wide receiver, not really something that I need to focus on, but when you remember the dude that was fast in the UDFA section, looks like a good idea, right? Then on the tight ends, definitely something that we need to work on. I like these 2. It's solid, but I need a third one, and it's not going to be Ben Sims. Spoiler alert, I rather think I'm going to be bringing in a mentor to help these 2 out and help them grow. And maybe if I find an interesting tight end in the UDFAs, I'm going to bring him in as well. But the age structure is just really good for the next 4 to 5 years. We just have to make sure that we re-sign them. On left tackle, looking good. And I don't see Kadeem Telford as the dude to be the backup here. He's 26, he's older, and he's worse. I want to have a super young player in here that'll just grow behind Rasheed Walker, step in from time to time, and I want to give Rasheed Walker a new deal next season anyways. So there's that. Elgton Jenkins, 5 years and 2 remaining. He's 29 now, and we need a clever solution here. So this is almost a little bit too late. Now Carson Barnard is 24 and 65. He has done not badly, and he has even got that award. He's got 3 years on him. So the age would be great. The overall, I'm not sure if he can catch up, right? Is he going to be as good as Elgton Jenkins at the same age? Can you grow 20 points in 5 years? I think you can. But yeah, this is something that we will have to look at. At center, I'm super happy actually with the setup. I will be using Jacob Monk. and using Josh Myers as a backup. Both are almost similar, and I actually see the succession turned on its head, and Jacob Monk taken over now. Alec Lindstrom, I think we're going to let him go. I don't really see him as an addition here. Jordan Morgan, perfect, and Sean Ryan, I like this. I'm going to leave this as it is. We've got a young player anyways here. We're set for the next 4 to 5 to 6 years solidly. We've got 3 years on the contract, no issues. On the right tackle position, same thing. I like this, but I don't see Travis Glover as a feasible backup here. He's 25, he's 64, and to be fair, I can get a 21-year-old with a 60 rating, and he's going to be better very quickly. So this is something that I'm going to address. On defense, I like Rashawn Gary. I think Kingsley Enagbare is a decent backup to have for the moment. Aaron Mosby will definitely be leaving the Packers. Again, we're going to package some players off. Kingsley Enagbare is a question mark. He's too close in age, but I don't think he'll be able to take over fully from Rashawn Gary. So gonna have to think about this one. On right edge, it's actually perfect. We've got Lucas Van Ness, who's a future prospect, and all nice 24. He's gonna grow, he's gonna be fantastic. I can use Preston Smith for the next 2 years just as a backup, or we can even package him and trade him away and just bring in a rookie. But for the moment, I think this is a pretty solid situation. Brenton Cox, again, older than my starter and way worse, so what's the point? D-tackle, this is one where we need to get active. We've got Kenny Clark, who's 29, he's fantastic. We've got Devonte Wyatt, he's 27 and 74, he will be wanting a new deal. He's very close in age to Kenny Clark, but he's actually not that much higher rated when you compare him to this dude. Carl Brooks, 25 and 69. You know, yes, I think you can grow 5 points in 2 years. That should work. Kobe Wooden, same thing. We brought in Siaki Ika. PJ Mustafa will not be with us next season, I can tell you that. So I'm going to be doing some thinking here on how to progress best. I could see myself keeping these two here just because they're a little bit younger, especially Siaki Ika. You know, he's just, yeah, why not? Yeah, we just have to figure something out. I would like to draft a D-tackle. All right, that is basically the position that I want to draft. And if you can get a very good player, a great rookie to pair alongside Kenny Clark, that's great. But we have 2 D-tackles that we need active here. So we got to think about that. Left hand side linebacker, we've got Tyron Hopper. That works for me. I just need a mentor, a backup player here for him. On mid linebacker, we've got Edgerrin Cooper. I love that. It's the same thing. I just need a backup player here that's almost as good, but you know, in the best case, also boosts him a little bit. Right outside linebacker, same thing, Quay Walker. So linebacking, it's basically the same situation. I just need veterans in there. Jair Alexander, 2 more years, super highly paid, but that is deserved, so that's all right. Eric Stokes, 26-78. He's got a 7-year deal. I don't know what happened here, but I'm just gonna go with it. I like this. He's looking solid. Carrington Valentine, he will be stepping up. So I think this is a good succession plan, right? We've also got Keisha Nixon, who's just a backup player. Alan George and Josh DeBerry. I think we're gonna be saying goodbye to these two. On the free safety front, this is just awesome, right? We've got Javon Bullard, who's 22-80. He's fantastic already. We've got Evan Williams, who's a backup player. I don't mind that. We've got Verone McKinley III. I think I'm not going to be holding on to him for too long, and I actually maybe rather bring in a mentor here to boost the performance a little bit. And on strong safety, we've got Xavier McKinney, fantastic experienced player, 4 and 3. We've got Keaton Oladipo, 24 and 70. That is actually a really solid backup. He was a rookie this season. And we've got Jaquan Amos, who will be leaving us at kicker. Braden Narvison, I'm actually reasonably happy with him. And at punter, we're going to need someone. So the next step will be now, and I'm going to be decluttering this off camera, and I'm just going to be showing you the result afterwards. All right, so now we cut down on the players pretty harshly. We've got the 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs, no fullback. We reduced the number of wide receivers. We reduced the number of tight ends. We decluttered this here. I did hold on to Carson Barnhart, by the way. Kept this unchanged on left edge. I kept Enagbare. I also kept all of these 3. We might use one of these on the practice squad. Let's just see how that works out. But for the time being, I'm very happy. We reduced a lot of the clutter and a lot of the players that are just sadly unusable. I would really like to go with the full-fledged team for once, but yeah, there's just so many players that are really completely unfeasible in there. And that's just a little bit of a shame. Then again, we can look at some players and restructuring a few deals. Maybe like, I don't know, giving Jair Alexander a longer term deal if we want to do that. But for now, I'm going to leave this as is. And I want to take a look at the free agents together with you guys. So let's dive straight into this one here. Yeah, let's take a look at the available free agents. I will not be going, like balls deep into whatever here. The thing is, of course, there's the top 100, right? And then you can go by position. And I love that they have all the sorting stuff in here as well now. That's just really great. For the moment, I will not be doing anything. I really don't see the point in doing that. I'm pretty happy with what we have. I think we need to go for certain positions more than others, but there's no position where we really have a huge need, even if the CPU is trying to tell us that. But which player here would really complement us right now? Which player would really be necessary to bring into the squad and bring a lot of value to the team? I mean, we could bring that David back to Ari if we're talking about that, by the way. He's got 0 offers. We could actually super lowball this dude, which would be not nice. But he's injured all the time anyways. But it's just it's too much money right now. I don't want to lowball him. If people don't get picked up in free agency, then I will be offering deals to them, maybe in the 3rd round, but not in the first one straight away. But since there's no position that we really need to fill with quality immediately, right? This is what's so fascinating about this roster. It's just there's so much quality in there, and while there would be players that we could add, having Chase Young on the team would be freaking awesome. But he doesn't want to join anyways. I turned the settings up to 1000 in terms of who's interested and who's not. So probably that would be a better indicator than anything else. Just kind of sorting by this and taking a look who would be interested here. I do want to get a punter out of free safety, a punter out of free agency. That is something I do want to do. But apart from that, I don't really see the point in going for anybody right now. Alright, so same thing as before. We now also get results for the Pro Day. It's first the Combine and now the Pro Day. And again, we will be going over that in detail later on anyways. It's just an update to all the stats that are there anyways. You can kind of compare how was the Combine and how was the Pro Day, and did it get better, did it get slower, did something happen, just like that. I just wanted to show you this really quick to give you an indication of what we will be looking at approaching the draft. I also decluttered the roster, as you know, and I got some 7th round picks for that. I didn't do anything nasty here to the trade logic, so there we go. Apart from that, we're going to be looking at the mock draft now. Just want to see who they put with us. D-tackle Howard Cross. There we go. Nice, right? Round 3 to 4. I don't know why I would be picking him in the first round. I think I'll go with the best on board approach. He does look pretty nice though, with a lot of B's over there. So that is something, again, as we approach a draft, I want to take my time with the draft. So that is something that we will be handling then. Apart from that, there's not much to do. I will be skipping into next week now because I want to see the results of the free agents period. The next step, of course, are the private workouts. And again, we're going to look at the favorites here, and I want to take a look at the players that I hope will be available. I can't really, put my finger on. I think Howard Cross III would be really great. I want to know more about him. I think Walton Nolan, I think he's not going to be available. He dropped down a little bit though, but I just don't think he'll be available. If he will be, let's pick him. If not, we need to take a look at other options, of course. So players like these are a little bit more up my alley. I want to know a little bit more about Will Howard. He's week around 3 to 4. I also like Mac Pritchard here. He looked pretty interesting actually, and he doesn't look that horrible. Looking up, looking at his stats. Got Bob Kennedy in here, who is looking a little bit worse for wear. Then I have this tight end. I found him in the third or fourth round here out of Notre Dame. I think I'd like to know what he can do. Jonah Monheim. So, there's a lot of players that I found in the later stages just by sorting and kind of identifying these. I love Jack Sawyer. He looks really interesting. But as I said, D-tackle is the position I want to focus on. There's dudes that are just going to be safe bets, right? I mean, like Mason Graham, that's a power rusher, and he's a scheme fit. So we're going to be looking at these. I think these three are basically good enough. And if we get some more information on them, that should help us to also accomplish the goal of, like picking a super great draft pick here. All right, next up. Let's take a quick look at the free agency recap. This is again something that I usually do. You can see I didn't sign anybody, and I will just be moving through this really quickly so that you can take a look at where a player you might want to be interested, where they went. All right, that is it for the first part of the off-season. We've now covered the free agents period and the renegotiation period. The next two steps, of course, are the draft and preseason, and getting the team into shape and forming a squad that is competitive again. I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me on this one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you didn't, do drop a comment down below. If you liked it, do drop a like. Consider subscribing. It means a lot to me, as you know. Helps me out. Small content creator right here. And thank you so much, everybody. Stay awesome, everybody, and see you next time.